Victorian Leader of the Nationals, Peter Walsh, good to have you with us again on Flow.
Thanks, Ricky.
I've seen some comments from yourself and the member for Lowan, Emma Keeley, concerned that with Parliament running out of sitting days, these laws to stop farm trespass are still not arrived, but they are arriving tomorrow, are they?
So we asked a question of the Minister in Parliament 2 weeks ago because there was a promise the legislation would be in place by the end of this year. At that stage, no one had seen any detail. The Minister today finally gave notice that she was going to introduce it to Parliament tomorrow. So all the pressure from the farming groups, from ourselves as MPs, from you as media outlets, actually holding the Minister to account has finally worked, and they've now rushed it in on the last sitting day of the year. And it obviously won't be dealt with till next year, and by the time it goes through the upper house, it could be effectively another 6 to 9 months before it's actually in place, which is a disgrace, given that this report is almost 2 years old and a commitment at that time for the government to implement on-the-spot fines.
So there's not going to be the same sort of haste there was with the Pandemic Powers Bill in terms of making sure it's through before the end of the sitting year?
I cannot guarantee you the Minister will not be having an all-night sitting to get this through. She's been forced to bring it to Parliament by community pressure, and it will now sit on the notice paper for next year, and by the time it goes through the upper house and it's actually implemented, it will be at least the middle of next year, tragically. Farmers will not be protected for all that time.
And in essence, what are these reforms meant to achieve according to what the report said needed to happen on farms?
Well, if the legislation is what the media reports are, it will introduce on-the-spot fines as was recommended by the parliamentary inquiry into effectively the Gippy Goat issue. So instead of a magistrate just either not imposing any penalty, or as the magistrate did in that case with Gippy Goat, putting a $1 fine on the activists who invaded that farm and stole a goat, this will implement, if it is as we believe it will be, we'll put in place an on-the-spot fine that is, there is no ability for a magistrate to actually reduce that.
All right, we'll keep an eye out for that. Peter Walsh, thanks for joining us while the bells are ringing there at Parliament House in Melbourne. Thanks again.
Thanks, Ricky.